Good.
Good. Welcome to class. So I'm going to teach you guys some pretty cool stuff today. As Kathy had mentioned, I've sold a lot of Cutco knives. I've been around for a little while. Who in the room is just getting started, by the way? I see some new faces. Awesome, cool. Who in the room has been around for about a year or so? Who's been around for about 3 to 5 years? Okay, who's been around, who's old school and been around for the 5+? All right, cool. Well, thank you for being here, guys, no matter how new, no matter how old. I'm going to teach some good stuff that actually is really prevalent for every area of life. So I'm going to teach you some stuff that will have a direct impact on you getting better and more sales. It'll have a direct impact on you getting more recommendations. It'll have a direct impact on you booking more appointments. But also it'll have a direct impact on how you show up to everything in your life. Who in here wants to be better at everything in their life? Okay, cool. All right, looks like a majority. Good, good. So I'm going to teach you stuff that will allow you to step up into certain situations and be your best. So this is the stuff this is part of what I've used to really be as effective as I am as a coach. So I help a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people sell a lot of knives. My PR, Justin Ledford, was like my first coaching client, and he's at 1.7 million in sales. And I've helped other people in this division. I've helped a few people win silver cups, which are national championships. And this is also some stuff that I've used to produce the results that I'm producing in the field as well. By God's grace, in the last, this year, I'm at 82 grand in sales for the year, but that's in 12 days. So by God's grace, I've done 82 grand in 12 days this year. Last year, I did 135 grand in 29 days. So if you combine them, that's all pro and every minimum amount of days over the last 2 years around all my coaching and speaking. So what I'm going to teach you today is a huge reason why I produce so much. Does anyone want to have any numbers that are close to that, by the way? Does anyone want numbers somewhat close to that, to where you're doing that kind of production in that amount of time? So I'm going to teach you some things that will have a direct impact on producing numbers like that. Before I do that, though, I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. No one made you be here. Even if like your manager said you had to be, you still technically had a choice in it. And so you decided to be here, you decided to learn, you decided to really get the most out of this night. You could be doing any other thing tonight. And some of you probably are hungry, some of you probably tired. So I just appreciate the fact that you're here, you're focused, you're attentive. And I appreciate going into my talk, your willingness to pay close attention, your willingness to take good notes, and your willingness to get the most out of this message, because I can give you some really good content. But does it matter if you don't take it and use it? Does it matter? No. No. I can give you really good content. And maybe you're excited, and this talk was like, wow, Mike, that was such a great talk. I'm ready to go. Ready to sell knives. Yeah. But if you don't apply what I teach you, then it was just a cool talk. Does that make sense? And I like giving cool talks, but that's not what this is all about. This is for you to learn and grow and get the most out of this, to get the most out of this business and your life. Does that sound good?
Great.
You good? Good. Good. So, with that being said, I'm going to be moving around. Yeah, so. Okay, that'll work. I'm going to use this. Do we have a marker and things to clean? Yeah. Did everyone get this? Too late now. Hopefully.
You can erase everything.
Okay, cool.
Mary might kill me.
Dude, that was good. That was good. That was good.
That's what is.
I thought it was real.
I did too.
Wow.
So that's the first thing I'm going to teach you. No. So what I'm going to share with you guys is really a concept on how to show up your best in every situation. Because it's not so much, this is actually a really good law of success. I'd write this down. Focus more on how you're showing up than on how fast you're advancing. Focus more on how you're showing up than on how fast you're advancing. If you get too caught up with how fast you're advancing, then you're not showing up your best. You're getting frustrated. You're getting angry. You're not being your best. You're not saying the best things that you can say in a demo. You're not saying the best things you can say on the phone. You're not saying the best rec approach. So if you're focused or too caught up in that, you're not showing up as your best. However, if you show up and give your best, and you do that on a consistent basis, what happens with the advancing? Naturally happens. Does that make sense? So if you can focus more on how you're showing up than on how you're advancing, you tend to advance farther, faster. So I'm going to teach you how to show up in the best way you possibly can. And I'm going to talk to you about something we just learned at UPW for those that went and for those that have gone. UPW is a Tony Robbins event. By the way, if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, he works with the top people in all of the world. So this is the guy who coached Anthony Hopkins and Hugh Jackman, Serena Williams, Usher, Melissa Etheridge, Andre Agassi, presidents of Fortune 50, not just 500, Fortune 50 CEOs, so the top 50 companies. This guy has worked with the top, let's see, last 5 NBA championships teams have worked directly with this guy, last 4 Super Bowl teams. So in other words, this guy teaches people how to succeed, right? They pay him $1 million a year for 12 30-minute sessions, all right? And so this is very high-level content. The event we just went to cost $1,000 to attend, and it's even though it's going to be pretty simple, it's going to be pretty mind-blowing, pretty powerful stuff. Okay? Okay. So to show up, what we're really talking about here is what determines your decisions. For those who've heard me give the talk on the 3 decisions, this isn't that talk, although you'll want to hear that talk if you haven't heard it. But what's controlling our decisions on a moment-to-moment basis, is what's called our state. Our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual state. How you're showing up, okay? This is controlling what you decide on a moment-to-moment basis. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say there's a guy named John, and John just got done working a really tough job, and he's tired, he's beat, he's hungry. He gets home, and he's like, oh gosh, work sucks so bad today. And he sits down, and he's got a little 5-year-old son who runs up and goes, Daddy, look, I drew you a picture, Daddy. Look, I drew you a picture. But John is like, oh gosh, life sucks, work sucks, state. He's in that state. So how is Daddy John here going to respond to little Billy? Is he going to be like, oh, John or little Billy, that's such a great drawing. Thanks. So great. How is he going to respond? Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks, Billy. Go find your mom. Right? That's great. Okay, yeah. Now, that may seem like no big deal, but what could that do to Billy? Discourage him. Yeah. All of a sudden, he's not going to be quite as excited to bring that picture to Dad the next day. And if it continues, then he'll never bring pictures to Dad ever again. So even though states are controlling what we do moment to moment, they have profound impacts on our whole life. Does that make sense? Most of us have no control over this. We just show up, and then things affect us, and then we react. There's no conscious deciding what state am I going to show up in. Am I going to show up being angry or bitter or joyful or grateful? There's no deciding. We just kind of show up, and whatever happens, happens. So here, who would want to actually learn how to have way more control on how you affect these states, the states that you're in, and how you show up to everything? Would you guys want to learn how to control that more effectively? For those that have learned this before, unleash the power within. Remember, common sense doesn't always mean common practice. So you want to see, how can I apply this even more? So if you've learned this before and you're not living it, then you don't know it. I'll say that again, by the way. You don't know anything until you're living it. So if you've heard something before, cool, great, awesome. Do you live it? Then you don't know. Make sense? So the first part of what controls our state on a consistent basis, how we're showing up on a consistent basis, is how we use what's called our physiology. This is the most powerful thing. How we use our physiology. Okay, what is physiology? That's how you use your body. That's how you use your breath. That's how you use your voice. Voice is part of how you use, physiology is the movement of our body, how we use our body. The voice is actually part of that because it's referring to the vocal cords. When we say something with enough tonality, we're actually using our physiology, not just our voice. So let me give some examples of how this affects us. You guys ready to play along with some stuff here?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to physically show me, without anyone saying a word, just physically show me what being really, really sad and down looks like. Go for it. Being really sad And I want you to hold that position. Get sadder. Show me what even sadder looks like. What does sadder look like? What is even more depressed? What do you do with your hands when you're really sad? I know you don't talk on your phone when you're sad, that's for sure. What else do you do when you're really sad? You put your hands on your face? You do this? You run your hand through your hair, like, oh gosh. What else do you do? Show me. Go for it. Show me what you do when you're sad. Physically show me. Show me even more. Show me even more. What else do you do when you're sad? If you're confused, look at your neighbor. They can tell you how to do it. Some of you maybe not practice sadness very often. What do you notice now? Once you go there, hold it. Go to there and hold it. Keep staying there. Hold it. Hold it. What else do you do? Does your head drop even more when you're sad? Notice, does your breathing get more shallow? Almost everyone looks down when they're sad, right? Keep holding it. Keep holding it. How are you starting to feel? Is that universal? Is everyone starting to feel pretty down? Pretty sad? Yeah? Aren't you glad you came to my talk? So you're starting to feel the sadness, right? You guys didn't have anything to be sad about right now. I mean, maybe if you have stuff going on at home, maybe you do, but it's not like it's here in your face. So why did you start getting sad? Because you were using your physiology to put you in sadness. Guys, emotions don't come to us. We go to our emotions. And we do it out of habitual patterns, so we're not even aware of it. It's completely under our radar. But when something happens to us, then we go into a pattern that says, oh, I need to do this. And then the more I do this, I start to feel more sad. You guys get that? Your physiology is controlling how you feel more than anything else, no matter how crappy, exciting, fun, sad, whatever your life is. This is how you feel. So everyone go to sad real quick again. Go to sad. 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 On the count of 3, you might need to set your books aside. On the count of 3, I want everyone to stand up in pure enjoyment. Don't do it yet. Stay sad. Stay sad. You freaking cry. Stay sad. So on the count of 3, I want everyone to show me. We don't have to say, you don't have to think anything, just show me on the count of 3 what pure joy and excitement looks like. I mean, that might mean you stand up, that means you throw your hand, whatever it is for you. The count of 3. Stay sad. Ronna, don't you smile. You stay sad. Count of 3. 1. Staying sad. Life sucks. Everything sucks. Why are we even here? 2. 3. Go. Ah! Keep that going. Now stay like that. Stay like that for just a second. Stay like that for just a second. Stay like that for just a second. Keep that, whatever excited for you. It might be this, might be this, might be this, might be this. We'll just swallow, so he's like, I'm so excited about my muscles. All right, so whatever you're excited about, right? Hold it for a minute. Hold it, keep it there, keep it there. Keep it going, keep the excited going. Keep the excited going. All right, we're pausing excitement here, keeping it going, okay? There we go, keep it going, keep it going. Keep the smiles in the face, keep the smiles, keep the smiles, keep it going. Keep the exciting going, keep the smiles, keep it going, keep it going. Keep it going. Keep the smiles. Keep it going. 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 How are you starting to feel? How are you starting to feel? Feel good, right? That's insane. You were just sad. What are you talking about? How could you do that? See, guys, I want you to realize something here. Most of us are taught. Most of us are taught in order to go from being completely sad to being very joyful, it takes like 10 years of therapy. How fast can you go from sad to joyful? How fast can you go from joy to grateful? So let's practice gratitude. So if you were to be really grateful, like someone was about to give you the best thing you've ever received, whatever that is, it could be some material thing, it could be like a case full of like $1 billion, it could be like, here's your dream wife or husband. Whatever they're about to give you, whatever's most important to you, you're about to receive it. If you were just to be so thankful that you're about to get the best thing ever in your whole life ever, how would that look? What would you start to do? How would you feel? What would you do? What would you start doing with your body? What would you start doing with your face? I'm starting to see it, right? You get that little like, yeah, right? A little smile, a little head nodding, right? What else would you do? If you're so thankful this thing's about to come to you, it's the best thing ever, you're about to receive it, here you go.
I would like hug the person next to
You
me.
hug the person, right? So you get, all right, so you feel the hugging, the urge to hug, right? Kind of have the urge to hug, right? What else? What else are you feeling? Notice how tall you stand, right? You're standing pretty tall, right? Notice how your breath is much deeper right now, right? It's not as shallow, right? Notice what you're doing with your face. Your face is lifted up, right? You get that smile on your face. That like, yeah, I'm excited about this. Yeah, buddy, right? You got that smile. Notice what your eyebrows are doing. You're more up. You're more alert. Your eyes are more open. Notice these things. Anytime you ever want to feel excitement, use this recipe. Because these are all just ingredients. How you're standing, how you're breathing, how you're looking at things, how you're holding your head. All these things are basically ingredients that make up the cake. Excited, grateful. Does that make sense? Whenever you're sad or angry or upset, it's because there's certain ingredients. You sit a certain way, you breathe a certain way, you look down a certain way. And those ingredients max up or add up to a crappy cake. Make sense? So how you're using your body. How many people in the whole world do you think even learn this? I mean, less than 1%. Less than 1% in the entire world, whether they're double your age, triple your age, quadruple your age, it doesn't matter. Most people never learn this. Most people are succeeding, if they're succeeding, on accident. And then they don't sustain it. And then there are other areas of their life that are sucking because they don't know how to show up in the right state in those areas. Does that make sense? Even though most people never learn this, who all does this affect? Everyone. Does that mean like everyone except like Frank? Or like everyone? Like every single human being who's ever lived and will ever live? Yes. So don't you think it's pretty powerful to learn if it's affecting you and how it affects your life for the rest of your life? You want to start being conscious of this. We go into these things that we're about to lay out, the physiology I'll tell you the next two, we go into these things automatically every day. Some of us just show up in really shitty states. Some of us show up in like ungrateful states. Some of us show up in everything's going wrong states. Some people show up in FML states. And they don't serve you. You can't be as resourceful. You can't be as productive when you're in an FML state. But if you're in a state of gratitude, if you're in a state of joy, if you're in a state of excitement, then can you do much more in those states? Does that make sense? You guys got that?
Got it.
All right, so I'm gonna do one more thing with this body language, okay? Everyone stand like you're Superman with your hands on your hips. All right, and kind of look up like you're about to fly. And we're just gonna hold this for a minute, and we're gonna notice something here, okay? So notice how you're feeling now, and then we're gonna notice at the end. So you don't have to look too far up, like don't get a crick in your neck. But just like 45 degrees, just thinking, I'm about to go save the world. Yep. I'm about to go save the world. Oh, there's a major explosion in China? No worries, I'm gonna go save it. Because I can fly to China in like 5 seconds. So keep holding that, okay? Keep holding it. Keep holding it. Keep holding it. Keep looking up like you're Superman. You might even have a little smile on your face like, yeah, I got this. Doesn't matter what the problem is, I got this. I'm Superman. Or Superwoman. Supergirl. Super lady. All right, so keep that going. Keep looking up. You're about to fly. Like you just start feeling like your body is about to take off. Start getting that feeling, like you're just about to literally fly through the ceiling. Sorry, Kathy, we're gonna really mess this place up. So really start feeling that. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep the smile. Keep the eyes up too. Keep the eyes up too, not just your head. Keep the eyes up. Eyes up. What are you starting to feel? Feeling what?
Invincible.
You're starting to feel invincible. What else are you starting to feel?
Strong.
Very strong. What else are you starting to feel? Confidence. What else? What else?
Like that.
maybe a little narcissistic. Maybe we need to work on some things there. But you can be confident without narcissistic. Trust me, I practice that. So Notice how you're starting to feel. You guys feel, is across the board, did everyone start to feel more confident, stronger, a little more assured, a little more invincible, right? Why? Why? Did I just give you, did I just give you some special powers? Did I just write down, like, hey, you're invincible? No problem. Why did you start feeling this way? Why?
I wanted to.
Even if you wanted to, like, if you were to doing this, Will brought up a good point. You may want to feel good, but if you're like, oh gosh, I hate life. Oh, phone time's so hard. Oh gosh. Then even though I might want to feel invincible, am I going to feel invincible in my fetal position state?
No.
No? So get that. Get that, guys. We don't even get necessarily what we want. We get who we are. I'll let you sit down and write that down if you'd like. Go ahead and sit down. You guys can sit down. So I would write that down, actually. That's a good point, Will. I'm glad you brought that up. We don't get what we want. We get who we are. And part of that is a whole nother talk on standards and other things, and a whole nother talk on identity, and a whole nother talk on creating a compelling future. But this is a big part of who we are, too. Moment to moment, this is who we are. And we come up with states that we get really comfortable with, and we want to go there often. So some people live like an angry state. They're just always angry. Or they're always looking for reasons to be angry. Some people are in joyful states, and they live that way, and they're always looking for reasons to be joyful. This is a muscle. So if you haven't been in the best state, if you haven't been living in the best state, if you haven't been joyful, grateful, peaceful, kind, loving, any of these emotional states that we want to be in, if you haven't been in them often, it's okay. It just means that muscle is weak, and you got to work it out. Does that make sense? Confidence is a state. Confidence is a state of being. It's not like you go get confident. Did you notice you were being more confident just like this? Everyone felt that more confidence, right? And just by physically being that way, it allows you to be more confident. You guys get that? So pay attention to how you're using your body. Another part of this is how you're using your breath. So a lot of times when we start teaching stuff, people start drifting away because we're not breathing when we learn. And so we'll start learning something really cool, but then we'll stop breathing. We're like, and then we just start drifting. We start losing focus. So you got to keep breathing, especially while you're learning. All learning is state-based, by the way. All learning is state-based. If you're not in a good state to learn, then you're not going to learn as effectively. So everyone take a big, deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, but this time make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. We'll do one more. Make sure the exhale is twice as long. In the nose, out the mouth. And this time, moan as you exhale. We'll do one more of those moaning breaths. One more time. And really moan, like it doesn't matter. That felt great for me. I don't know about for you guys, but. And now you use your physiology with voice. So if you say something like, okay, I'm going to go do it today, guys. I'm going to make it happen. I know I can. How is my energy? Versus, all right, let's do this. I'm going to do this. I can do this. I know I can do this. I'm going to make this happen. I'm a set-selling machine. Ah! And not only will I scare my neighbor, but how am I feeling? Like, I'm freaking ready. Yeah, like put me in a demo right now. Right? Don't do that in the demo. Michelle's gonna sell you some knives. You're gonna buy an ultimate. I was telling you the cookware. How many reps can you give me? She'll kick you out immediately. Immediately get kicked out. Okay? Don't do that in this demo. All right. So that's your physiology. Next, I can. Oh, thank you. I was just testing you, Brandon. Well done. All right. Next is how you use your focus. And this has a lot to do with like your mental, the mental side of it. How you visually focus. So you've heard me say before, for those who haven't, what you focus on, you feel. Remember that? What you focus on, you feel. So this will be a reminder for some. If this is a reminder for some, what is the dumbest thing you could ever say? What are the dumbest words you could ever say? I already know this, exactly. So if you've heard this before and you catch yourself saying, I already know this, the reason you're saying I already know this, the reason why you say that is because you're not doing it. That's it. If you ever say, I already know this, it's because you're not doing it. If you're doing something that's already being taught, you don't say to yourself, I already know this. You say to yourself, oh yeah, that's good, I do that. Right? Make sense? So you want to be in the habit of saying, oh, that's right, I do that. Not, I already know this. Because if you say that, your brain shuts off. You have no way to learn. So what you focus on, you feel. So for example, you might feel your feet touching the ground right now. So you feel your feet touching the ground, right? Were your feet touching the ground prior?
Yes.
Why are you just now feeling them?
We're thinking about it.
Because I brought your focus there, right? Exactly. So the feet were already there, but you didn't feel them until you brought a focus there. Are you holding something in your hand right now? What do you have in your hand? All right, spiral on a pen. Can you feel your fingertips holding the pen? Or can you feel your fingertips holding the notebook? Or can you feel your fingertips clasping one another when you're holding your hands? Can you feel your hands right now? Can you feel them? You guys feel what's in your hand? Where'd your feet go? So the feet were still there, but did you stop feeling them? Why did you stop feeling them? Because your focus went where?
To the hands.
To the hands. Okay? So how does this apply? Well, there's plenty of good, there's plenty of bad. When we look at our past, plenty of good, plenty of bad. Some people had really, really, really messed up pasts, but even then, they had still some good. When it comes to our present moments right now, our daily lives, what we're living in right now, what we're dealing with right now, there's plenty of good and plenty of bad. What's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. And when it comes to the future, there's plenty of good, plenty of bad. We're not promised it tomorrow. We don't even know if we're going to be here tomorrow. But when we think about our future, if we're thinking in terms of, oh my gosh, what if this goes wrong? Oh my gosh, what if that goes wrong? What if I don't this? What if I don't that? That's how you're feeling about your future. But if you're focused on your future as, what if things go right? What if the outcome goes the way I want it? What if I get the results that I'm going towards? And your focus is more on the faithful good, what could happen. That is how you feel about your future. Does that make sense? So the only reason people aren't doing what they should be doing is because they're focused on either all the activity or a negative outcome. So if you don't feel like doing something that you know you should be doing, the only reason you're not doing it is because you're focused on all the activity. It's going to take all this time. I've got to push 10 numbers per call. Oh my gosh. And I've got 20 people. That's 200 numbers I've got to push. You're focused on all the activity or focused on a negative outcome. Well, what if I do phone time and no one answers? What if I do my phone time and then I don't get any appointments? Then I just wasted 2 hours of my time. Well, I don't know if I want to do phone time. So that's why. If you're not doing it, it's because you're focused on activity or negative outcome. If you are doing it, it's because you're focused on a positive outcome. That is it. You just believe there's a chance it's going to turn out the way you want it. So when you think about phone time, if you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make all these calls, or oh my gosh, well, no one answers, you're not going to do it. But if you think about phone time, you're like, well, what if I'm like the best call this person gets today? We sit down with customers for 2 hours or less and make every day of the rest of their life better. I don't know if you got that or understand that. But what our product offers is the best on the planet that people use every day for the rest of their life. No other product exists like it. So in 2 hours or less, we sit down with people and make every day of the rest of their life better. How many people for a living can say that's what they do? In the whole world, of all the professions, how many people can say, for a living, I sit down with people for 2 hours or less and make every day of the rest of their life better? How many people can say that? Very few people in the whole world, right? Like maybe a surgeon, maybe like some professional therapist or coach or something, right? It's a very small window. Do you guys understand that's what we do? I have knives from the 60s. I have knives from the 60s that I show customers a before and after the guarantee. I got them from a customer. Who was sending their knives back to get sharpened. And I said, ma'am, can I just keep your knives and show customers? Because this is awesome. I'll just buy you new knives. She was like, cool, that works for me. The reason I mention this is because that lady got those knives in 1967 from some college kid. He was like, "Oh, I'm just paying my way for school. It's the '60s, man. Gotta get my degree. Diploma, man." just college kid in the '60s, man. So let me ask you something though. So did that college kid in the '60s, who's just paying his way through school, man, have any real idea that 40 years later that woman was going to get a set that she paid $150 for in 1967? She got it for an $850 set 40 years later for free. Did that kid have any freaking idea that's what he was doing for that woman? Probably not. He was like, "I'm just paying my way through school." But you guys do now realize that's what we do for a living. When we sit down with someone and they get knives from us, it's a cool, fun experience, and we grow and we learn and we enjoy it. But every meal, every day, every birthday, every Christmas, every family gathering, everything where there's food is now better for the rest of their life. Every freaking day. And if that's your focus and that's what you show up and you're just grateful for the customer, you're grateful for the opportunity to serve them and help them get literally the best products they'll ever spend money on, and you're certain that that's what you're there to do, then focusing on that outcome usually produces more of that outcome. Does that make sense? That is a key distinct reason why I've sold the 220 grand in 29 plus 12, 41 days. Big reason is because I'm focused on showing up to serve, and I know I'm serving, and I'm doing it from a powerful place. Does that make sense? There's also an electromagnetic field that our hearts give off. Every single person gives off an electromagnetic field, okay? The vibes of that field are what we're all feeling around each other. Have you ever walked into a room and people just got done yelling at each other? And even if they're done yelling, what do you feel?
Tension.
You feel the tension, you feel the anger, you feel the heaviness in the air, right? That tension, that heaviness, guys, that tension and heaviness is your electromagnetic field. So what determines the frequency of that field is what you think about and what you feel on a consistent basis. So if you're showing up in a positive, joyful, grateful, confident state, and that's the electromagnetic field you're giving off, how does that affect those around you? It bounces back. They're going to feel it towards you as well. So that's why, have you ever seen someone walk into a room and even if you didn't know who they are, they just lit up the whole room? Seen that before?
I've laughed off somebody's smile before.
Right.
They were just so happy.
Right. And you feel it. You're like, gosh. Right? So even if you don't know that person, they walk in and you feel that energy that lifts up the room. That energy is the electromagnetic field. That's what you're feeling. And the reason why it lights up the room is this, guys, get this, because this is everything to do with influence. The reason why is because they're so certain, they're so confident in how they feel. They're so certain in their gratitude, they're so certain in their joy, and they're so certain in their confidence that their certainty that makes the frequency of their electromagnetic field stronger than everyone else's in the room, which then affects the field of everyone else in the room. You get that? I sell the exact same knives everyone else in here does. Okay, I don't sell super cut them. And that's why I've sold so much. I'm telling you exactly why I sell so much. Anybody can do this. If you learn how to control your state, show up from a place of serving and giving and joy, and that's what you can influence there. Quick little tip on how to control your focus, what pops in your head. Okay? Think really quick of a fear. Think just anything that is scary to you. Could be anything. Could be a big fear, ball fear. Just think right now. If you got a fear, I can tell based on your face. All right, so if you got a fear going, do this with the fear. Make the fear in your mind, when you're thinking of it in your mind, imagine it being bigger. Imagine it being brighter. Imagine the fear being more on top of you. Imagine it hovering over you. How does that start to make you feel? Less afraid or more afraid? More afraid. Check panic, right? Check this out, guys. Now take that same fear and detach. Imagine you're walking away from it and you're gonna sit down in a movie theater and you're gonna watch that fear on a screen. Imagine you're doing that right now in your mind. So you imagine yourself leaving the fear. And you're no longer in it, you're just gonna kind of watch it on a screen. Now imagine that fear, instead of being in color, turns black and white. Now imagine that black and white little movie screen gets smaller and smaller and smaller where you can barely see the fear. It's black and white. Imagine that it gets really fuzzy. So it's not clear at all. What are you starting to feel about your fear now if you're doing this exercise in your mind? What are you starting to feel now? If it's real small, you're not even there, you're just watching it, and it's getting really small, it's getting really fuzzy. And if you hear voices, like if you're hearing things like in it, like people are saying things like, how dare you, you suck. They sound really small. Like, how dare you, suck. You can't do this. Are you guys doing that? Did you guys do that mentally? How do you start feeling about the fear then? If you make it smaller, on a movie screen, black and white, and not a part of you, how does that feel? Feel distant. What else? Less scary, less intimidating. Did you guys notice that? So we all have ways of how we focus on things, and if you can control how you focus on it, meaning the brightness, the darkness, how close you are, how far you are, how loud it is, how soft it is, you can take control of a past memory and do that to it to where it doesn't have the same effect on you, or you can think of something that's scaring you ahead of time or in the future, and do that with it, and it has nowhere near the effect on you. The only reason it feels scary is because we're making it in our head way bigger, brighter, and scarier and heavier. Does that make sense? Okay? Make sure to breathe. Last part is, thank you. Last part is how you use language. So number 3 is language. Language / the meaning we give to things. So this is key. This is key. So how we use the language out of our mouths on a consistent basis is controlling almost everyone's lives. So what we go through situationally is just a situation. But when we say something about the situation, we give it a meaning. We say, oh, that sucks. And all of a sudden, that robs our state down into suckiness. Or we say, we'll say things like, gosh, all the good ones are taken. All the good ones are taken. And then we'll rob ourselves from showing up to a situation where we might meet a guy or a girl or whatever, where we'd want to get to know them. Because we wouldn't even show up. Why would we show up thinking we can get a date if all the good ones are taken? Or we might say to ourselves, gosh, God must be punishing me. Well, if you apply that language to a situation, that's going to change your state a lot more than saying, God must be challenging me to grow here. Different language to the situation is going to determine how you feel, how you're going to be in that situation. Does that make sense? I'm going to show you another quick example of this. Landon, I haven't done this with you. Come on up, Landon. Landon, let's give Landon a round of applause, please. All right, Landon. Some of you guys have seen this before. Landon, face me. Are you left or right-handed? All right, go ahead and hold your left hand out. Or that way. Resist me pushing down. Just keep me from pushing me down, okay? All right. Okay. Okay, now I want you to say, my name is, and I want you to state your full name.
My name is Landon Eugene Patton.
Say it again.
My name is Landon Eugene Patton.
Hold your hand out. Say it again.
My name is Landon Eugene Patton.
Resist me.
My name is Landon Eugene Patton.
Okay. All right, now I want you to say, my name is Miley Cyrus.
My name is Miley Cyrus.
Go ahead.
My name is Miley Cyrus.
Again.
My name is Miley Cyrus. My name is Miley Cyrus.
All right. Now I want you to say, I'm very weak and puny.
Very weak and puny.
We're not all weak and puny. Okay? We're not all weak and puny. That was good. All right, so back out. All right, I'm very weak and puny. Again. 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 All right, now put it back up. No, that's all right. It has nothing to do with that, actually. It has nothing to do with the language. Yeah. Back out. Now I want you to say, I'm very strong and powerful.
Very strong and powerful.
Again.
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 Very strong and powerful.
That has how much stronger that was, right? Okay. The next part's weird, but don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to touch you. Okay. You just stand there. Don't worry. You just take in the weirdness, okay? Just take in the weirdness. Put your hand out. Put your hand out. Resist me. Pretty weak. I told you to be weird, guys. Hands out. Hands out. Resist. That was the strongest one. All right. One more. I'll explain it. Don't worry. I know you're confused. All right. Put your right hand on top of your head, facing down. Put your hand out. Just like that. Put your hand out. Resist me. Okay. Flip it upside down. Just like that. Yep. All right. Put your hand out. Resist me. And that was the strongest one of all. Thank you, Landon. Let's give Landon a round of applause. So the lesson there, you remember when I did that with you too, Will? Like, what's going on here? So that always works. I've done that 100, maybe 1,000 times now. It always works every time. If you want to ask me how or question or doubt or whatever, come do it, and I'll do it to you later. So the point here there is pay attention to what comes out of your mouth, especially after the words I and I am. Write that down if you're not freaking living it every freaking day. Every day. Pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth, especially after I and I am. Especially after I and I am. This is crucial. Because the words that you're saying are either strengthening you or weakening you. Every time. Every time. Not just like cool examples in front of a group at a talk, but every time. It's strengthening or weakening you. Every time. And the energy you're giving off, whether it's down bringing or degrading, or if your energy's uplifting. It's uplifting, that's affecting you and everyone around you. So the words that come out of your mouth and the energy that you have is affecting every cell in your body. Every cell. So the muscle cells, the skeletal cells, the eyeball cells, the neurons, every cell in your body is being affected by what you're saying every single day. Most people have no clue how much they're making their life shittier than they have to. Just because they're walking around complaining all day long. And they say FML, FML, and they wonder why their life is so full of F, right? This is key, guys. Most people never learn this, but this is really, that's why I did the example where I showed Lana, like that was pretty crazy, right? We're doing this to ourselves every single day. And most people never learn this. And they're zombies walking through life affected by what's coming out of their mouth and they have no idea. But you do. So don't be a zombie. Okay? Okay. So guys, that's how you control moment to moment, how you show up. You pay attention to physiology. You pay attention to what you're focusing on mentally. You're paying attention to the language you're using, the wording you're coming out of your mouth, the meanings you're giving the situations. And if you do this and you show up in a state of gratitude, a state of joy, a state of certainty, a state of confidence, and a state of love, and a state of wisdom, then you're going to bring the best that you can bring to a situation. You're going to sell more knives than you've ever sold. You're going to get more wrecks than you've ever made. You're also going to make more money than you've ever made. And you're going to create a community of friends, whether it's in the business or out, that you've never had before. Just because you're choosing to show up in a better state. Sound good?
That's great.
So guys, to lock this in, we're going to wrap up the way I wrap up my talks with celebrating.
Oh, yeah, let's celebrate.
For those of you that don't know why we celebrate my talks, this is actually science behind this. Think about it, when you were a baby or when you were a kid, if you did something good, what made you want to do it again?
Fun.
It was fun, but what else? If you did something good and what? Yes, thank you, exactly, Taylor. Check this out, guys. This is key. This is psychology 101. The reason why you did something again is because you got praise for it. So if you did something good, then like your parents or your grandmother or whoever was caring for you, they're like, oh, wow, that's so good, good job. And you're like, whoa, I like that feeling. I want to feel good some more. I'm going to repeat that behavior. Does that make sense? So when we celebrate, what this does is it takes the myelin, the white around the neural pathways in your brain, and it makes it stronger. So what that means is it makes everything that you learned easier to remember and easier to implement, AKA you're smarter. Sound good? So that's why we celebrate. We don't celebrate just so we can go hoorah, yay, hype stuff. No, it's actual science to help this stuff lock into our brains more effectively. So we're going to celebrate. A lot of people suck at this, so we're going to really practice here, okay? We're going to celebrate like you just won the most important thing in your life. Most of us only celebrate at sporting events or when we're wasted. Or both. We're going to practice here how you can celebrate without a sporting event. I love sports, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. But we're going to celebrate without a sporting event and without being wasted, okay? On the count of 3. You're going to give your all to this celebration. I'm actually more on the introverted side. So this wasn't the easiest thing in the world for me to do at first, okay? But if you're very introverted and you want to kind of stay in your shell, just use this as a chance to break out of the shell just for a moment, and then you can go back to your shell, okay? So on the count of 3, give it all. Like you just won the most important thing in your life. Like you just won the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA Finals, the World Cup, the Stanley Cup, any other cup that you want. You just won all that, and you just won the lottery, and you just found it, and you got pizza, and we just won Silver Cup as a division.
Yes!
And the person you love more than anyone else came up to you and said, "I love you and I'm proud of you." All that just happened at the same time. You ready? The count of 3. 1. Get ready. Remember the rule. Remember the rule. The rule is you cannot throw people or things. Remember. Okay. 1. Get ready. The juice is flowing. If you're not screaming and yelling, you're going to be the weird one. 1. Get ready. 2. 1. 2. 3. Go!